Hey there, Bookaneers! Glad you could join me for today's Bookaneers Book Club video. I'm going to be featuring the new middle grade book by Jason Reynolds, an author that we really love here at the library. The book is called Stuntboy in the Meantime, and the pictures are by Raul III. And then after I tell you about this book, I'm going to tell you about 3 books that are very similar that I think you're going to enjoy. Let's get started. Stuntboy in the Meantime is about a kid named Portico Reeves, and he lives in a big apartment building in what seems like New York City. And it's not clear whether it's the 1980s or the 1990s or nowadays, but that doesn't really matter. Portico loves hanging out with his friend Zola, and they just love walking around the halls, meeting all the different people that live in their building. But there's also a bully that lives on their hall, and over the course of the story, Portico realizes that his parents might be getting separated. And so to deal with a lot of the worry he has, he decides to come up with a superhero alter ego named Stuntboy. And Stuntboy's job is to take all the hits and the pressure and keep other people safe. But really the book is all of these different episodes of him and Zola hanging out together. Even though you've got this big story about his family, you also get the day-to-day stuff that Portico and Zola are up to, and it makes it really fun. But the best part, let me show you the inside, is that it's not quite a comic book, it's not quite a chapter book with illustrations, it's this really cool kind of in-between style. So you're going to get a lot of text with illustrations in between, sometimes more picture than text on the page, sometimes speech bubbles, like a comic strip, and sometimes mostly just the illustration. So it's a really cool style that I haven't seen a lot in kids' books, so I'm really excited for you to try it out. Okay, in Stuntboy in the Meantime, Portico deals with what he calls the frets. He says it feels like his heart and his stomach switch places, he gets very sweaty. It's basically his version of worry or panic when something's about to go wrong. And that reminded me of our first recommended read alike, which is Guts by Raina Telgemeier. Now hopefully you've already read this. Smile and Sisters are the first 2 books, and then Guts is the third. If you haven't, I highly recommend that you pick it up. It is about Raina as a 5th grader dealing with new kind of nervous tummy troubles that she starts to have. Anytime she worries or panics, she gets the worst stomach ache, and it starts to influence everything around her. School, what she eats, who she hangs out with, how she sleeps. And so it really is about her getting help for her anxiety and tummy troubles, and also dealing with this as she grows up. So if you are someone who deals with your own version of the frets, or if you have tummy troubles related to worrying, definitely pick up Guts. Okay, the second book I want to recommend is Marcus Makes a Movie by actor and comedian Kevin Hart. This is not a comic book. There are some illustrations throughout, but it's mostly a traditional chapter book. And it's about Marcus, who, like Portico, has a superhero alter ego. And Marcus's is called Toothpick. And mostly he just draws comics of Toothpick defeating the villains in his life, the bullies, the problems. And the story really starts when Marcus has to join an after-school club and ends up in the filmmaking club where kids are trying to make their own little movies and shows. And Marcus wants to make a toothpick movie, like a Marvel movie, but realizes he doesn't have any equipment, he doesn't know how to make a movie, he doesn't even know the steps involved. And so the story is about Marcus working with all these other kids who have these really cool, unique skills, and he helps them with their movies, and they help him with his. So it's a lot about teamwork. The story is really funny and silly, but there are some really sad emotional parts. I even teared up at the end. So if you want something that's really fun, about a kid learning to kind of become friends with other people and work as a team, and you're interested in filmmaking and all the steps that go along with that, check this one out. Our last read-alike for today is New Kid by Jerry Craft. This won the Newbery Medal Award in 2020. It was the first graphic novel to do so. And this one is a little bit more like a traditional graphic novel, more like Guts. This book is about a boy named Jordan who, like Portico, who kind of feels he's being pulled in 2 different directions because his parents are getting a divorce, who feels like he is having to be two different people in two different places. When he starts attending a new school, but it's very kind of posh and privileged, and he is one of the only black students at the school. The story, like Stuntboy in the meantime, is mostly episodes of him and his friends and him dealing with like the day-to-day of going to school and hanging out in his neighborhood. But you really do get a sense that Jordan is growing as a character and learning about the world around him. And like Portico, he loves superheroes. He loves that they have kind of secret identities like Batman and Superman. And so he loves drawing comics as well. It's a great story. It's got a lot of great insight, and it's fun too. I hope you are able to check out our featured book for today, Stuntboy in the Meantime, or any of our recommended read-alikes. There's actually a lot I haven't told you about this book that you'll have to find out for yourself. There's a very special cat character and some other characters that might have secret identities. I have a feeling, though, that this will not be the last Stuntboy book. It ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger, so we're going to have to stay tuned to see what else Jason Reynolds and Raul III come up with. I will see you next month for another Bookaneers Book Club video, and hopefully starting in May, we actually can meet a little bit in person. Stay tuned for details about that. I'll see you next month. Bye.